to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting to stay. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul, and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul, and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Terrible, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, covet, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the goose gang and gain your might. We will print and we will earn. Once you gain is tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rut and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might.
Hello,
Hell yeah.
GMET.
Hell yeah, dude.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the LP Army Bootcamp. And what a great fucking intro that is.
I love it, man. Good shit, dude. All right.
Loving the energy in the chat. Welcome everyone. As I have said, it's day 2. Day 1, you can rewatch on the X and YouTube accounts of Meteora. But today, your host is me, and I'll get into that in a second. So welcome to day 2. Let's get on with it. So before we go anywhere, just want to remind you all that even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it, you are using real money, and you need to take on these risks, take responsibility for these risks yourself. Don't blame us. Make sure you practice some good systems and control yourself. And today, you're going to need to, the idea is to join in and follow along. So you don't need a lot, just start with a small amount. Be prepared to lose a little bit. That's how you learn. Lost many trades and won many trades. It's all part of the game. Consider your losses as the tuition for your LP training. If you win, don't go full stacking yet. You know, you might have just got lucky. Try and work your way up, move slowly. And yeah, I mean, I really believe that failure is the best teacher. You'll learn the most from that. Don't be afraid. And the way you can proceed without being too scared is to use only a small amount. It doesn't really hurt you if you do lose it. And yeah, when you become consistent and you have a good system going and you feel like, okay, it's not that stressful, you want to push yourself a little bit more, move into a slightly bigger position size. For me, I always personally like to stay in slightly uncomfortable. If I start feeling comfortable, it's probably time to move up a little bit. So today you have to agree to all these terms and conditions, and obviously you're going to need a Web3 wallet with some Solana in it, and we'll get into it. So who am I? I am Chief, and I'm one of the LP Army instructors. I'm also a mod in the LP in the Meteor Discord. Yep, pronounced Chief. I live on a small island. I like to surf. I do crypto. I've been in crypto since 2020. Do a lot of NFTs and helium mining. And back in February, maybe, I came across Meteoro while doing my rounds of airdrop farming. And I have a confession to make. I've never actually graduated the bootcamp, but I have watched them all. So I started LPing every day, and it has been earning enough for me to do it full time, and I'm basically LP full time. I'm also one of the founding members and the Goose administrator of the Goose DAO. And yeah, you can follow us on the Goose DAO on Twitter, and at its chief is my username. Some other people we have in the chat today, or you'll see floating around in the Meteor Discord. Of course, you got Alex, who makes a lot of the tools. Mario, who is one of the LP Army leads. Cook, who's here with me. Photon Magic, who's going to be helping today with answering questions and some of the live stream. Gosha, also very helpful answering questions. You can answer your questions in Russian if you like. I see we have Yusuf and Mario here. So Yusuf is one of the LP Jam guys, and often you'll find him in the Discord doing live streams and sharing all his alpha. And there's many others who not here today, but you'll see them floating around. So don't be afraid to approach them, ask them your questions. There are no such things as stupid questions. Just yeah, get involved. There's some real big brains in that list. So, like I said, no stupid questions. So ask the questions, but try and keep them concise. We're getting there's a lot of inflow, so use the chat, put it in there. Well, doing the required exercises, doing the exercises we do today aren't required to graduate. It's probably a good idea to follow along, learn as you do. It's the best way, at least for me, I find it's the best way to learn. And yeah, if you have any feedback about these sessions and how we could do it better, let us know. We're always up for improving. So this is a database of lots of very useful links and documentation. Please scan this code and save it. This is just a really useful document to refer to as you start digging deeper into the DLMM and Meteor in general. So I'll leave this up for a second.
Yeah, and it's the same bootcamp resources we shared yesterday. So if you got it yesterday, you're good. You already got this. Also, put this
Meteor Discord. You can also find a channel called Read This First, and that is particularly good for resources as well. There's so much out there, so you can kind of get stuck in and really you can learn a lot from this. All right, so what are we going to do today? So basically, we're going to expand on what we learned yesterday, and more specifically, we're going to look into how to choose which tokens to LP and figure out some good ways, hopefully, to be profitable. We've made, within the LP Army, there's been a lot of amazing tools created by members, totally for free. And we're going to visit a few of them and show you how to use them. And then we're going to try and do something live and actually show you some strategies that you can use depending on the situation. Although please bear in mind it's Sunday today, so the market's a little quiet. But we'll do our best. We'll have a look. And then also at the end of this, we are going to tell you what you have to do in order to graduate and become an LP Army private. And you'll get the CNFT once that has been graded and checked. So just to remind everyone, we will share all of the information about the task later today. We will put it up. Don't worry, it'll get up there. And then, of course, we're going to save some time for some Q&A, and I think afterwards, a few of us will jump into the Meteor's voice channel and do more Q&A there. I'm just going to keep moving forward. So what do I hope to teach you all by the end of today? Basically, how to LP safely, how to avoid rugs and scams, basics of your chart and what you're looking at when you see those candles, it's red and green candles, what tools you can use in tandem with the DLMM, and we'll also practice, using the DLMM on something a little bit more volatile and exciting. So in terms of becoming a great LPer, I think it's pretty good to set yourself some rules and have a systematic approach. There's lots of different types of people. Thank you. There's lots of different types of people who trade with crypto, and there's lots of different ways of doing it. Personally, I am someone who has a very low risk appetite. I'm not very keen on gambling and buying and hoping that other people will buy. I prefer to be in control of my own money, and I much prefer depositing it in something like an LP, where it basically makes an honest buck by providing a service. So if you are of this kind of nature, then LPing is great. If you're someone who likes to DJ and gamble, also the DLMM is pretty useful for that too, and we'll explain more so how that works. But no matter what you're doing, the first step is to really figure out how much you're willing to lose per trade and figure out when you will take a profit. Set that in stone and try and make yourself adhere to these rules. So you're going to need to figure out what your risk tolerance is, and you're never going to figure out unless you lose a little as well. So you need to, if you think it's too comfy and you don't care that much, maybe you're not risking enough. And if you're stressing and it's really like making you worried, it's definitely too much. So try and find that nice sweet spot in the middle. And I would also say practice a lot. You have a lot of time to practice. The Met stimulus package, which is the airdrop, is basically there to help you learn how to use the Meteor platform. Every dollar you earn in fees, you get a point, 1,000 points, sorry. Every dollar you earn, you get 1,000 points. But if you lose that fees to impermanent loss, you still get that 1,000 points. So it's a nice way to cushion yourself while you're learning. So practice small, then push yourself and try higher amounts when you feel more comfortable. The big thing you're going to find once you might become competent with the DLMM, but it's all a mental thing after a certain size. And the other thing I'm really going to encourage is collaborate, work with others, connect with others in the Discord. Don't do this on your own. It's really something that's a lot of fun to do with other people. I LP every day with quite a few people in this chat. And it's nice to find someone who's on a similar journey as you and grow together. LPing is not really zero sum, at least that's from the LPer's point of view. We call it a PPP mindset, player promote player, player pump player. I don't know which one it is, but these things, like, ultimately you can't really get diluted a pool to an extent. Most of the time, other people joining you in the pool is really going to help you both. So you find something good, let others know about it. Discord's a great place to start with that. So if you're going to LP, besides the Meteor DLMM, which Heavy Metal Cook showed you all how to use yesterday, we need a few other associated tools to help you with that. So we're going to look at some on-chain tools, some tools to help you find opportunities. We're going to talk about technical analysis and we're going to review and check your performance and figure out a way to improve. So one first place you could go to find good opportunities is, of course, the media of Discord. There is a forum where people post their thoughts, sometimes their entries and exits, their ranges, what kind of things they're getting into. There's also the DLMM ops bot, which is a Discord bot where you can prompt it, and it'll tell you, which are the best pools for different categories of tokens, from strict list to degen to blue chip. There are many. All you need to do is go to this channel, DLMM ops bot, and you can just type /help and it'll teach you what to do. This is really good, by the way. It's I think, but it started to go a little bit out of fashion, but I still think it's an excellent indicator. And then one of the best tools, I think, everyone's seen this and used it, but did you know it's capable of much more than just creating the P&L? So metlex.io. So here there's many different functions. You can see them. You got fees, P&L, pools, DEX, DLM, dynamic, and magical. So they'll allow you to check your fees, generate profit and loss cards, search DLMM pools with a specific contract address, compare the DLM with other DEXs, and filter best performing tools, and then filter the best performing pools and search the top 50 performing dynamic pools. So I'm just going to share a different screen. I'm going to have to look at Metlex right now. All right, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna zoom in the cinema there.
Okay, hold on. I'll zoom in this as well. Is that better? Yes. Okay, cool. Right. So you have a few different options down here. What the hell do they all mean? Fees. Fees is pretty good. It's a good way to manually create a profit and loss spreadsheet, profit and loss card. So if it's for a specific DLMM, you can put your wallet address in here, and then you put the DLMM address in there. So that would be, let's say we are on like Sol USDC, just for the sake of this example. I'm not sharing the, in the URL, you'll see a code after the DLMM. It's just a bunch of numbers and letters. So you copy that code. You can't see it on my screen right now because I'm only showing the browser, but you put that code into here, and then you put your wallet address into here. And this will show me 0, but I haven't done any LPs on this wallet. You can also check your overall fees earned on your wallet. So you can put your wallet address in here, and it will scan it. This will take quite a while if you've done a lot of positions. This is my this is the wallet I use for the bootcamp, so I think it's going to show me a loss because I actually opened up today and found a LP position we opened at the last bootcamp, and yeah, that was RIP. In terms of P&L, if you have a specific P&L, we'll go over this later when we've closed the pool, but this is how you generate those cards. Now, let's look at let's have a look at the market, see what's going on. So we go DLM 100. This is basically the top 100 pools on the DLM at the moment, and we can filter it by how many fees, what percentage of fees are you happy to do. So let's say 2%. I'm going to go with 2%. Now I'm going to filter by volume. I'm going to go maybe 1 hour just for now. And then I'm going to sort it by the one that's had the most volume in the last 1 hour. And then might put in some liquidity settings. So this is how much TVL is in the DLMM. So the reason why this matters is because if there's very little in there, there could be a risk of it negative price action being quite harmful for you. If there's a lot, that usually means the price is going to move slower. And if there's too much, then your fee's not going to be great. If there's nothing in there at all, you might have to pay to create the bins in which you deposit the liquidity. So I'm going to say 10,000. The max, I'm going to say I don't want more than 700K. So I'm going to hit the rocket button, and now we can see these boxes that explain many things. Oops. Zoom out a little bit so you can see some more options. Now, don't be overwhelmed. Like, this is obviously a lot of information all at once, but what we're looking at is basically the performance of the pool. So here we have the pool name, the pair that this pool is doing, what the 24-hour fee to TVL is, how many fees it's earned today, how many fees it's earned in the last 24 hours, which is slightly different. The TVL that's in there right now, so there's 230K in there, and how much volume it has facilitated trades. So there's 400K. So basically, you can see that there's quite a lot of TVL that's enabling not that much trade volume, whereas over in this one, you can see that there is, oh, it just disappeared. Actually, this one's a good example. Only 10K of TVL is facilitating 700K of volume. So that's a lot of volume being traced through just 10K. Whereas here, there's more TVL and less volume. Then you can see what bin step it is, how many fees it's, what the fee percentage is, what the market cap of the token is. And it makes sense. You know, this is 5 million market cap, 34 million market cap. You'd expect more TVL to be in the higher market cap. This is the price change in the last 1 hour. Yeah, you basically just click this and it'll take you to this exact pool, but we'll go over that in a second. So you get 5 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hour, and 24-hour performance. And then here we can see how many buys and sells for each of those, how many transactions in each of those. Then you can see the volume over the last 24 hours, 6 hours. Obviously, this is new token, so it's less than an hour old. So we can see that because it's less than an hour old, the volume is the same for all increments of volume. But this is more than an hour old. This is at least 24 hours old. So we can see that over the last 24 hours, 400K has been traded. Over the last 6 hours, 200K has been traded, and so on. And we can see, you know, it's reflected in the time scale. So we can see right now, this is a much more traded token. There's 55 buys and 43 sells in the last 5 minutes, whereas in the last 5 minutes on this token, only 2 buys and 9 sells. So obviously, this is going to be earning less than this one, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse because we still haven't checked whether or not it's safe. But we'll get to that. And yeah, basically, it's the same for all of these. And you can filter once you get, if there's a particular, like for example, you only want to do pools with 5% fee, then we get different results. And that's basically the whole of this. The magical is pretty cool. You can set the bin step, the min and max bin step. So I'm going to say the minimum I'm going to say is 100. The maximum I'm going to say 250. The minimum base fee I'm going to say. Sorry, we got a question. Let me see. It is a general rule that the higher the TVL, higher the fees a pool can earn. No, that is not true. That is, it is one of the factors that affects how much fees you can earn. Because obviously the TVL could be placed anywhere on the price range in that pool. So it doesn't necessarily mean that 200K is placed in the area where the trades are happening, in the price area that the trades are happening. So that's the difference between the DLMM and other LP products, is that you can specify very specifically where you're going to place that liquidity. And that is one of the factors that affects the fees that you earn. So more TVL, the more they're going to share the fees, but too little TVL, and you won't be able to facilitate big trades. For example, if there's only $100 worth of SOL in the token in one bin, and someone tries to trade $300 worth, it won't be able to facilitate that trade, so Jupiter will route it somewhere else. So that's what we call liquidity depth. So it's the amount of depth in the bin that allows people to trade. Someone's asked, what's the difference between Edge and app? So Edge is the testing site. It's where they do kind of, they test a few of the new features before they make it live on the main site. There's no difference besides that. Right now, I much prefer using app. Okay, so back to the magical. So we set a min base fee, a max bin step, sorry, and the min base fee, and now I'm going to say the max bin base fee is 5 because that's the max anyway. Min TVL 10,000, I think. Max TVL 700K. Whether or not I want only strict list, or as Alex calls it, all rugs. So we're going to go strict list only and search.
I love that. I love Alex. Such a riot.
So we can sort by volume to TVL ratio. That means, so this is basically what dictates how well performing. If a small amount of TVL is facilitating a lot of volume, it's going to be earning crazy fees. Each LP is going to be earning crazy fees. If you have a lot of TVL and very little volume, it's going to be a slow trickle of fees. So we're going to do last 1 hour. Okay, so this is a strict list token. I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit. Let it load. So we had a couple questions. Please, can you explain what is TVL? Total value locked is the original term. What it means in our world of the DLMM is the total value that's in that DLMM at one time, which comprises of both the SOL and the asset, or both assets, basically. In this case, it's SOL and USDC. So you add this with this, and the dollar value is this. And this represents everyone that's in this pool. It does not represent the amount of liquidity for this pair across the whole blockchain. It's specifically for this pool. So you can, if we go back actually to have a look at all the SOL USDC, we can see there's a TVL tab here, and there's 2.5 million in this pool, 1.7 and 5 million in this pool. Then we can see the 24-hour volume. We can see that 2.5 million has facilitated 21 million in trade volume, whereas this 5 million has only facilitated 4 million. So we can see that this 2 million is far more efficient. So I would probably assume, and we can see here that the fee to TVL ratio, the percentage is higher than here, almost double. So over double, actually. So, you know, if you were trying to figure it out, I would probably pick this pool just from these 3 stats. And all the MetLex thing is an advanced version of that, basically. The higher the base fee is better. Yeah, well, basically, if people are paying a higher fee to facilitate a trade, then you're going to earn more. However, if someone creates another pool with a lower fee and undercuts you, then all these trading platforms are going to route their trades through there, unless it's extremely busy and everyone's trying to buy. And I'm guessing it works a little bit like it will expire all the options at the cheapest price and then move to the highest price fee before moving to the next price point. So what we're looking at here, this is the magical list. We're looking at anything with a minimum of 100 bin steps, 250 bin step maximum, 2% base fee, and 5% maximum base fee. With these settings, this is the best option. We can see a nice little chart. showing us that I have, by the way, I've turned on the RSI on this. And so, yeah, that's one of these. This is an amazing tool. You can literally sit here and refresh this throughout the day and just keep picking out good pools. But please remember, just because it's earning a lot doesn't necessarily mean, it often means that the risk is high. So it's all about finding that middle ground where you feel comfortable either going to something that moves slower, or if you want to do something more risky, using a smaller amount. Okay, we got a lot of questions coming through.
I think the other instructors can handle a lot of these.
Okay, so let's, for example, we want to look into, we can press this LFG. Just going to load this page. Let's say, for example, you have found a token on Twitter or something, and you know what the contract address is. That's this thing here. So I'm just going to copy that. On the MetLex tool, we can search with the DEX tool. You put the token address in here. And now what we'll see is all the pools, liquidity pools for that are facilitating GRPH with SOL, including the Radium pool and the Meteor DLMMs, the Radium CLMM, and probably there's no Orca in this one. So what's the purpose of this? Well, you can do a comparison. You can see that the Radium pool has 1.2 million in it, and it's facilitating, 2.9 million of trade volume in the last 24 hours. Whereas the DLMM has 230K, but has facilitated 400, almost double. So they're performing pretty equally at the moment in terms of the TVL to volume ratio. But yeah, you can kind of click in and find the Radium pool. You can also do this. So this is so you can try and find opportunities and compare. Like, for example, we can see that this pool in the last 1 hour has facilitated 71 buys and 23 sells. And if we compare it to this DLMM, which is probably a different setting, it has facilitated less in the last 1 hour. And so this is where you can compare if you're not sure which one is the right one for you, you can kind of just compare between these two. Okay, say you have the contract address, but you only want to look up which DLMM pool is the best for that token. You can just search in the pools tab, and now it will only display the DLMMs that have been created for this token. And here we can see bin step, base fee, dynamic, and the dynamic fee at the moment. So we can see that this is getting quite a high dynamic fee. So your dynamic fee is the base fee plus whatever additional dynamic fee it is. This can go up to 10% maximum. We can see this 5% pool is getting 7% dynamic fee, so that's pretty high. And then yeah, you can click straight into seeing the the pool, the link straight to the DEX screener or the bird's eye, and then the rug check as well, which is pretty useful. And the GMGN link, which we'll go over later. So then we have to look at this dynamic. So it's the top 15 meme dynamic pools by 24-hour fees. This is not the DLMM. This is the other product, dynamic pools, that Meteor creates. And yeah, if you're interested in those, you can find them in here. So let's go back to the presentation. 1 second. So Metlex, there's a lot of alpha in there. It'll already help you find the right tool. It'll make things easier for you in terms of navigating, you know, where to go to find more information, like your rug check and things like that. Speaking of, let's talk about how to identify whether or not a pool is safe. So there are sort of three main indicators in my mind. How safe something might be, and you should always check this before you deposit any funds into the DLM. The DLM is permissionless, so anyone can create a pool on it. Meteor cannot control if someone wants to create a pool or not. They will create it, but so it's up to you to be responsible for your own funds and to do some research. Rugcheck.xyz is really great. You'll find this if you click on the token address on the DLMM. A little pop-up will appear, and one of the links is Rugcheck, so you can click that. And you can see when you put in the contract address, whether or not there's a lot of people that, a very small percentage of people that own a high percentage of the supply, and what the programming of the token is, whether or not they have made it freezable, which is really bad. If it's a copy, if there's not a lot of liquidity, and so on. The other is bubble maps. Bubble maps is really good for visualizing whether or not there are a few people owning a huge supply. So maybe they have bundled their wallets and they have multiple wallets pretending to be different people. Actually, it's one person. So you should always check what percentage of the supply one wallet has or one bundle has. Basically, anything over 20%, you should definitely be scared of that. A lot of these tools are built into some of the trading platforms already, but definitely do some research into how to use bubble maps and how to use Rugcheck. Now, another thing that's very common is new tokens will hire bots or deploy bots to wash trade, which means the bot will sell the token and another bot will buy it, and they just cycle the money back and forth. So it looks like there's a lot of trading activity to trick to trick a lot of the tools into listing it in the top 10 of trading activity. So one thing is always to check the chart and have a look at the volume. Let's have a look here. If you can see in this chart, we have some gaps with absolutely no volume. This would be super suspicious to me. If I saw something like this, it'd be really very big red flag, because it's highly unlikely that you'd have almost exactly the same volume periodically, and then it stops, and then another period of almost exactly the same buy and sell volume, and so forth. And so if you see something that doesn't look natural, then that's probably something to avoid. Fake volume is a big problem. Right, let's get into some chart reading. So we talked a little bit about the TVL tab and 24-hour volume tab in the Meteor native UI. So this, really is, you can survive by just reviewing this and making judgments based on that. A lot of the tools just make it a little bit more detailed. One of the tools I really like is GMGN. And the reason why I like it a lot, which I'll show you in a minute, is their table for the volume is super useful, especially because it shows you in this. So at the moment, I'm selecting the 1 minute time frame. So in the last 1 minute, there's been 92K of volume. Out of that volume, 38K has been buys and 54K has been sells, meaning the net volume has been negative 15K. So as someone who's LPing, I'm watching the net buy and sell to see if the price is about to change. If the buys and sells are pretty even and this net buy is close to zero, then it's probably going to trend sideways. If it's heavily favoring one or the other, then we can probably assume that it's about to pump or dump. And then you get the general information about the token, the market cap, the volume last 24 hours, how many holders. And then down here, you have some of the basic safety checks too. So there's no mint function, there's no blacklist function. The big chunk of the liquidity has been burnt. But in this case, you can see that top 10 owns 71% of the supply, which is sketchy, very sketchy. That means that if they hold that much, one of those users can dump the chart in basically one transaction, and they have a huge advantage over you. So we are going to go a little bit more into depth on the chart itself, but I'm assuming most people know volume down here, candles up and down, green up, red down, price on the right. And we'll do that a little bit more. But actually, if you want to get into some proper analysis that's going to help you identify ranges and whether or not a token is going to go up or down, these are my favorite technical indicators. So once you got the basics of what support and resistance is, so by support, we're talking about an area where the volume, where the price is cheap enough that more people buy it and the price starts going up. If we talk about resistance, we're talking about when the price is rising and it gets to a certain level that more people sell. And often you'll see in a chart, it bounce between the support and resistance for a while until eventually the momentum will change and one will beat the other, hopefully pump up for you. So we call that ranging between the support and resistance. And it's important to look at that. It's important to look at the volume details in the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 6 hour. And it's also important to check what that's like across the whole market, not just in the DLMM. So this is another reason why I like gmgn.ai, which is like aggregator. It will show you the activity across all the liquidity pools, not just the one that you're DLMMing in, which can often help because sometimes you might see a lag between something happening in the Radiant pool and then it catching up with the DLMM pool, in which case you might be able to react quicker. Anyway, so the main indicators, which you can find on the chart up here in this FX button, which says indicators, is the MACD, which is this one, moving average convergence divergence. This is a histogram that represents the volume. And this is really interesting because basically you have a zero line that goes across the middle. And the MACD line, which is the blue line on here, if it crosses with the orange line, which is the zero line, no, sorry, the divergence line or something like that, we tend to see a change in the price. The price is going to move up or down. It usually happens just before the change in the price. And what you're looking at with these bars, this histogram, you can see there's two greens. There's like a dark green and a light green. There's a dark red and a light red. Now this is the amount of buy or sell volume at that time. So we're talking about the net volume. In this case, this is another way to represent the net volume. So you can see in this period here, the net volume was buy and it was increasing in buy volume. But then the buy volume started to slow, which was represented by the lighter color green, until eventually it crossed the zero line and there was a little bit of sell volume. It means at that point, there were more sells than buys, then the buys took over, and then again it slowed down, and now the selling really increased in momentum. So the first increment, because this could be 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10, 1 hour, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. You can see that the sell volume was increasing. So it's at this point here where the sell volume, for the first time after a period of increasing amount of volume that's being selling, started to slow. And so this is where you might think, okay, it's going to stay in this price for a little bit and then maybe start reversing. And when it hits to here, it will start reversing properly. And so I will go through this with a live chart later, but this is essentially one of the most useful tools out there. So basically, if the histogram, which is the bars, if it's growing, that means the momentum is stronger. And if it's shrinking, there's a potential reversal coming. The further it is from the zero line, the more strong that trend is, and the closer it is, the less strong. So you can see in this area, there was probably a big pump and then a big dump, and then it sort of ranged quite evenly after that. Moving on, the RSI, which is almost the same indicator. It basically tells you the same information, whether or not something is overbought or oversold. When we say overbought or oversold, we're talking like this would be overbought here. So we have three lines here. We have a 50, a 70, a 50, and a 30. If it's at 50, that means we're pretty close to moving flat sideways. That the price isn't likely to pump or dump. It's just going to stay moving sideways. And if it goes up, we are likely to see a reversal soon. Either way. So anything above 70, I would avoid buying. Anything below 30, I would consider buying. So let me just finish these TAs, and then we'll show you them in GMGN. So I see some people asking what chart settings. Well, that really depends on. They're asking what chart time frame do you want to use for these. Well, it depends. If you plan to do just a 5-minute LP position, then you want to use the 5-minute. If you plan to leave something overnight, you probably want to compare it on a 6-hour. I think most of the time you should do all of the time frames to get a better sense. 15-minute and the 6-hour gives you a much longer idea of what's happening. If the current dump is really something that you should be scared of, or something that's kind of natural in its as it ranged. So we will go over that in a sec. Some other really useful ones, and I think this is also one of the most useful ones for LPing, is the Heikin-Ashi candles. So you'll find this on the, if you go to this indicator here, where this little bar next to the FX indicators, you'll be able to select Heikin-Ashi candles. What this does is basically smooths the bars so that you can it makes it easier for you to identify trends, whether or not it's moving up or down. So green candles with no lower wick is a strong uptrend. Red candles with no upper wick is a strong downtrend. Small bodied candles, like the smaller ones, with wicks on both ends, signal potential reversal or consolidation. Basically, it helps traders stay in trends for longer and filter out noise. So let's have a look. You can see here's the standard bars. This is the same chart, the same pair, same time frame. But you can see when the Heikin-Ashi are set, you can see definitely in this area here, look, a big change. So where this dump and pump came, you might buy here thinking, oh, it's going to pump. It's going to pump any minute. But actually, if you looked on this, we can see there's a strong downtrend. And so these indicators, by the way, are available in almost all technical analysis tools. That's Deck Screener, Bird's Eye, GMGN, Photon. They're kind of standard tools. Now, when it comes to deciding where to place the bounds of the LP position, one thing to know is, like, historically, where has all the trading happened? So you look at a chart, you kind of infer, but you can see that the amount of trade volume has been happening. The most amount of trade volume has been happening down in this range here. But for this new range, you can see it's between this point and this point, there's been some trade volume. The line, this is where the most amount of trade volume has happened, at that exact price point. So this is really useful for identifying the upper and lower ends of your bounds based on historically where trade volume has happened. So what you're looking at here is the trade volume across price levels within a visible chart. The yellow bars, that's the sell, and the blue bars is the buy volume. The areas where there's a high, where this bar is longest is where there's the most volume happened, and the opposite. And so the point of control, this is the red line along here. This is the most amount of volume has happened at that play. So you can see there was a lot of trading here. Eventually it pumped up, and in the new range, there hasn't been a lot of volume yet, but probably because this is just new, and over time, these bars will grow. So let's have a look at all of this on an actual chart. So let me share my screen. One second. Percent. Okay, so let's go back to that example from before. Graph, GRPH. So I have the token address. I'm going to search it in here. This is gmgn.ai. So I'm going to look. This is the token. All right. So we can see I have a lot of indicators turned on automatically, but I'm just going to turn some of these off for now. And probably what you would see is something that looks a bit like this. So let's get started. So we have a look at this whole price range. We're going to make sure that, well, the thing that I always forget about is to select Sol. Make sure you select Sol if that's what you're trading in. And yeah, there we go. You can see this a bit better. Fortunately, you can't really zoom in. If I zoomed in, it's going to make things, maybe it'll work. So we're in a 5-minute time frame right now. So we can, let's maybe go to like 15 minutes, just get a longer term view of what's happening. So right now, this is the standard view. We can see down here that it's basically flatlining. It hasn't really pumped or dumped that much in the last 1 hour. Although in the last 1 hour, there's been a net buy of 100K. So that's only slightly more than the sell. So and that's reflected in the chart. It's only moved slightly more than the sell. We can see the market cap's 30 million. That some of the rug check stuff on here is good. We also have some stuff up here, which is really useful, like how if you hover over them, they'll tell you what they're for, including an audit, so that there's no mint and all these things. These are all useful things to look at. Right, so looking at this, we're now in price and Sol. First, I'm going to turn on the Heikin-Ashi candle. So we're going to click in here and look for Heikin-Ashi. And now this smooths out these candles so you can much more clearly see where buys and sells are happening. Next thing I want to know is what the volume is like. So I'm just going to do regular volume. So this is the indicator button up here, and I just searched volume in there. In the volume, I have made slight adjustment where you can go to this cog over here, and you can change some of the settings. So I put a moving average, and I make it a histogram, and I make it a color. This is just for me to see more clearly if there's an increase or decrease in volume, instead of just looking at the bars, the green and red bars. Pretty okay. So next, I'm going to see where the trading has happened. So I am going to see the volume profile visible range. And now it's going to pop up this histogram. And we can see here, for this visible range, this period of time that we're looking at, this is where all the trade volume has happened. And the most amount of volume has happened where this red line is. And you can kind of see that in the chart. If you zoom in, these bars change. And they'll only show you where the trade volume has happened in the time zone that you're looking at. Repeating that, just while we're here, someone said, can you repeat changing the volume color? So any of these indicators, you can actually just hover over here on the left. Don't know if you can see my mouse. And just press the cog button, settings button. And here you'll be able to change your settings. So anyway, we are looking at the buy and sell volume for this range here. We see that it's currently pumped up, but it's about to dump. We see that most of the trading has happened here. So one of the cool things that this tool can do is I like to use a horizontal line to mark out where a trade has happened. So we know that basically between here and here, most of the trade has happened. This looks like, is this a confirmed breakout or is it going to return? Who knows? Let's have a look at the MACD. And I'll just close this for now, close that. And if I come down here. So what we've just learned was that the green bars, if they increase, the buy volume is increasing. If they change color, that means for the first, so we're looking at what time frame are we on? 15-minute time frame. So let's maybe move to a 5-minute to get more clear. So every one of these bars is a 5-minute period, and for the first time in several minutes, probably an hour plus, we start to see that there's more sell volume than buy volume, and you can see that reflected here.
Hey, Chief.
And so, yeah.
FYI, we're at 1 hour.
Okay, cool. So this is really important for helping you find the range in which you think you might want to. So in this case, what I might do is set up a bid ask and go like this. If I represent the bid ask with this drawing, it'd be like this. And I put only sol, and I put it where more of my sol is towards the bottom. And so if the price continues to go down, that's great. If it bounces up, that's really great. If it doesn't do that, and it goes down and it just stays here, then at least most of my volume is in this range. If it stays here and then dumps down, then at least most of my liquidity, which I placed here, isn't going to be, didn't lose much of its value. Okay. So that's most of the best indicators and how to use them on these charts. You can find them here. If you really want to get into, I mean, there's so much. So one thing you can do is just ask ChatGPT, what does this do? How does it work? Show me an example. What does it tell me? You can click this camera button and copy the image, paste it into your ChatGPT, ask it, what does this tell me? You know, this is the stuff. If you learn how to do this really well, doesn't matter if it's for crypto or for whatever asset, being good at reading charts is probably a great life skill to have. All right, so are we back on the presentation now, guys?
Yeah, one thing I would tell people is, you know, once you find a few indicators that you like and you understand, you know, I think you can stick to those, because a lot of times, you know, if you like pile indicators on your chart, a lot of times, many of them, especially when you kind of combine them together, sort of tell you the same thing. So
yeah,
it's I think the ones that Chief showed are really, really good ones. And I think for the most part, that's really all you need, is that volume profile indicator, looking to see what the average volume is doing. And, you know, just reading the chart to see where your support and resistance are. And I think that's more or less all you need. I mean, but if you do find another indicator you like, maybe you like using RSI, and, you know, and if you like it and it works good for you, then stick to RSI, right? Don't try to kill yourself throwing a whole bunch of indicators, because then you kind of land in analysis paralysis, right? So it's good to kind of find the few that you like and then just stick with them. And if they work well for you, great. If they're not working for you, then maybe you start looking for another indicator that might work better.
And this, you actually mentioned a word that's really, really important: average. an average, I think, is so key when you're thinking about LPing, because you ever heard of this theory of the average of the crowd is always right? And so what we're looking at with these charts is people buying and selling. And what you're trying to do with technical analysis is guess the future. And so the more data you have, the more people that were trading it, or the longer the trading has happened, the more accurate your average is going to be. If you're trading something that's really new, like an hour old, 4 hours old, or whatever, and it's really low market cap and there's only like 1,000 people trading it, then it's going to be really hard to make an accurate average on stuff. So a lot of these indicators can only show you an average. And so the more data, the better. This is the reason why I love going for an aggregator instead of looking at the deck screener for the specific DLMM, because it just gives me more information which to make decisions on. It's definitely much easier to do chart reading on something like BTC, there's millions of people trading it. Something like what we looked at is going to be really hard to do chart reading on, because one person can influence the chart, and that's much harder to predict what one person will do. But it's much easier to figure out what the average of a million people will do. So I think that's a very key thing. When you look at these charts, even though they look the same, they're very different. Like, even though the colors are the same and the lines move the same, like one is on a huge scale and one is on a tiny little scale.
Yeah, and actually, I think to your point, I think looking at the number of holders is important as well, right? Because if you've got tens of thousands of holders, like you say, it's going to be a bit easier to predict based on averages than if you only have 2,000 holders. So yeah, that's another really good point, and something important to look at is the number of holders that have the token, because like you say, one person can really dump the chart if they've got a majority of the tokens in hand.
I think this is where a lot of people get hung up in crypto, and where they end up losing a lot, because the arena is not the same when they go in for the small early the early coins. The advantage other people have is massive. The amount that they can change and influence the chart is bigger. If you stick to stuff that's much bigger, like a meme coin like Bonk or something like that, things happen slower. They take longer time to play out, and one person can't influence the chart as much as they could do on something that's like 5 million market cap. So it's good to basically the size, the market cap, and the number of traders that are involved in it is kind of your barometer for the difficulty level that you get involved in. So let's continue. One of the really useful things with the chart tools is also you can set alerts. And so actually, I'll really quickly show you that on Deck Screener. Unfortunately, you can't do it on GMGN. Okay, can you see this Deck Screener right now? Yeah. So say we were doing this, LPing this. I would not recommend this right now. This is quite difficult. But we look at the 5 minute, and we said we were going to do something that was roughly like this. And you open your position, and you want to know when it goes out of bounds in the positive. This would mean if the price went up here, you would be in profit. So one of the things that Meteor has an alert, but one of the things you can do is click on the line that you created, click the cog settings button, go to visibility. Oh wait, hold on. Why is this? I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. I clicked on the drawing there by accident. Right, so click the settings button, go to coordinates, and this is the exact price that line has been drawn on, 0.3678. So I'm going to copy that. Over here, I can set alerts. So I click alert, I click when the price because we were looking at this, by the way, in Sol earlier. Oh, we're doing US dollars, sorry. We'll move over to Sol. do that again. Say the price is here. We copy this. This time it's 301958, something like that. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to alerts. Price in GRPH in the token goes over. I'll copy it, paste it in here. 1958. TLM up. That's what I usually do. Take profit, whatever you want to write. So now, then you can set your deck screener alerts. I have it set up with my phone. So these things will help me know. I'd say I put the lower bound of my position here. I do the same, make a new alert. But this time when it goes under, in graph, when it goes under 1564, you lost money. And so I'll get this alert. So that's a nice quick thing. Now back to the presentation. So anyway, I wasn't saying that that's the range that you should use. I'm just showing you an example of the alert system. But it is useful to draw stuff onto the chart because, especially if you're doing lots of positions, it can be hard to remember what exactly you were thinking at the time when you opened it. And so, yeah, with syncing alarms to your phone, I mean, you have to basically create an account with Deck Screener, log in on your phone and on your, get the Deck Screener app on your phone, make an account on the Deck Screener web interface. When they're both logged in, it will and then you have to set your notification settings on your phone. Strategies, right? So you know where you found your coin, you know where you're going to put your bounds. You're wondering what the hell to use, you know? So let's have a look at some of these different strategies that we have here. So in the DLMM, you can do one-sided strategies. That means you're only placing SOL, or you're only placing the token. You can combine strategies, so you can stack them on top of each other. You can use a mix. Some strategies are better for long-term, you know, several days, a week, and some are really good for a short-term play. In this instance, we can see an example of a one-sided SOL deposit. You can see that the LPO had put SOL in here, and the other token was called Lucy. And knowing, because I already know what the bid-ask looks like, I can see that this is actually a mix of spot on the base and then a bid-ask on top. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And here you can see that not only did they do the bid-ask, but as they did the bid-ask, they claimed some fees and they deposited the fees in a bid-ask the other way. So in this way, they're expecting the price to go down and come back up, or hopefully come back up. And then if it does go beyond where they entered, they'll start selling the fees at a higher and higher price as it goes up. So that's the basics of the bid-ask. Geeklad, who is on this call with us, has talked about the toothpaste strategy. So basically in this one, you put a baseline of spot all the way across the bottom, and then a bid-ask on top. And as the price moves up into the range, you can basically, now you can withdraw the SOL on this side, or you can keep it, and you can just reshape it however you like. In this case, the bid-ask is used on both assets and heavily used, as in this quite an aggressive angle, and which means basically that your liquidity that's placed within this range, so this range is somewhere around 116 to 132 dollars of SOL to USDC. If it ranged in this area for a long time, you're not going to earn a lot because your liquidity isn't placed here. It's placed mostly at this end and at this end. So what you're hoping for here is wild swings to happen between the two. And we talked about support and resistance. So what you're doing here is placing a lot of liquidity at the support, placing a lot of liquidity at the resistance. So as the price moves, it's at these points where a lot of people are going to be selling and buying. where you've placed the liquidity to be conveniently there for them to trade through. And so you're basically getting most of the fees when it's up or at the end, at the very bottom or the very top of your range, and you're going to get the least amount of fees in the middle. So these are all really useful ways of using the strategy. Personally, my favorite way to use the DLMM is what we call the bid-ask flip. Okay, hold on, we've got a question here. Help me calculate the formula. For example, I add only one Solana to the pool using bid-ask and max range down. Okay, I expect the token price will go down and I will earn good commissions. How do I calculate the non-permanent loss in advance? If the token price goes down to the bottom of the range, oof, it's very difficult to calculate that beforehand, because
yeah, I think I've seen some tools that will. I think there's someone had developed some spreadsheets, like a Google sheet that will calculate it, at least, you know, irregardless of how much you've earned in fees, what the impermanent loss will be at the bottom range. In Heavy Metal Cook, I don't know if we've got any of those linked in the resources, but I think we need to see if we can kind of dig those up, because I think those are pretty useful tools. And it all depends on the bin step of the pool you're in, right? Because if it's a high bin step, then you know, the IL will be different than if you're in a lower bin step. And so the tools that I've seen will kind of show a chart depending on how many bins you've provided your bid-ask liquidity and what the bin step is. So I think we need to dig those up. I think those would be good to share with folks.
The P&L sheet that Ben made, the Google Doc, it's in the Read This First channel on the Meteor Discord.
Yeah, but that's only like real sort of, I guess, air quote, real-time tracking, right? Because you have to put in what your input was, what the current price is. But these tools, I think, provide you sort of a chart that show you as price changes what your impermanent loss will be, or impermanent, you know, gain would be, right? If it goes up the other way. I'll have to see if I can dig some of those up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really great tools, but yeah, like Chief says, it is hard to figure out what it's going to be. But Chief, maybe you can show on a bid-ask chart, like sort of the range more or less where your average price is going to be. I guess it's probably what, about 2/3 the way down, something like that.
Yeah, so I would say this, it's not really worth your time, basically, to try and calculate beforehand. Just do it and then see how it goes. You know, these things, there's so many variables. It could be, how long do you leave it open for? That's going to affect how much you earn. We talk about, like, maybe the price of Solana changes as well as the price of the token. So, you know, there's a lot of things that make it very difficult to make that calculation. So I just wanted to kind of demonstrate the bid-ask in more detail. Someone said it's a simple way to understand this. And someone else said the bid-ask seems safer. It definitely is. The most single-sided sol bid-ask is the safest strategy, for sure. So let's say, for example, the price is here, and I'm going to set up a bid-ask all the way down to somewhere here. And I'm going to represent the bid-ask with this triangle on the chart. If the price, let me get the annotation out. Where's the brush here? If the price goes down and then bounces back up, that's great, because all your sol got used, and then down here where there was a lot of trading, the sol facilitated a lot more trades, and more of your sol was in this range. And then it bounced back up, which means all the fees that you earn down here are now worth more up here. So that's a very useful part of this strategy. The other thing to note about this strategy is, if, for example, let's zoom out a bit. Let's pretend like you opened your bid-ask somewhere here. back at this point in time, and you did a much wider one like this. This would have been a very profitable position because essentially what you don't maybe see in the normal interface of Meteor is the price goes down, but then it stays down for quite a while. And so all this time that it's down here, your bid ask is just earning fees, and eventually it exits up. And that's a really great situation for you because now you're left with just Sol and a boatload of fees. So we talked about like how profitable, calculating how profitable. Well, you don't know how long it's going to stay in range. Let's say, for example, I saw people asking earlier, like, what happens if it goes out of range to the bottom? Well, in this situation, say you are depositing 10 Sol, just for the sake of example, I'd say roughly like 8 or so, 7 Sol will be in this area here, and the rest is up here. So if the price does go below into this area and starts ranging, the percentage change in value of the token, because obviously if it does go down there, then the DLM have swapped all your Sol into the token, and now okay, you've lost 25% of the value. But if you had just done spot, which is just a square, sorry, a rectangle, and you open spot from here, now the amount that you lost is going to be 50%. So all the liquidity that was up in this range is now worth much less down here. I hope that makes sense to people. That's an explanation of how the bid ask works. So your ideal situation with the bid ask is it dips down, it stays down for a while. The longer it stays down, the more likely you are going to reach a positive profit. If it dips down back up, you're going to make a little bit of profit. If it dips down, stays down, and keeps earning fees, you're going to make some profit, probably a good amount of fees. If it dips down, stays down, and then it stays there for a long period and then breaks downwards, then your losses are going to be less because you have all these fees that you earned during that period too. If it just goes straight through all the way down, then you maybe should just close it and walk away. Wait until it finds a new range and then reopen there. Now the bid ask flip, which we were just showing on the on this presentation, a bit of a meme from Ewan from the do this when the price is dumping and do this when the price is pumping. It's very simple. So in this case, here's an example of when back in the day when I did it for Billy. You open a one-sided, just like I explained just now, we open a one-sided bid ask with Sol, meaning it'll buy more Billy at a lower price. Now, when it gets to that price, you can withdraw the liquidity. So there's a difference. There's withdraw and close the position. If you close the position, you close the whole thing. If you withdraw the liquidity, then the position stays open. The range is still there, but there's nothing in the bins. And so you can withdraw the liquidity and place it this time a bid ask with only the token, in this case Billy. So but at this point, when it's down here, all your Sol has been converted into Billy. And now you withdraw that Billy and you redeposit it into the DLMM, this time a bid ask with only Billy, and you take in all this liquidity at the bottom here that you swapped to Billy and you placed it up here in this price. So when the price goes back up, you've made a big profit, not just on fees, but also on token appreciation. As in, this technically is in permanent loss, but it's in your favor. And if the price is just swinging up and down between this range for a long time, you can just repeat this over and over again. There comes a point where it's repeating so much that maybe it's just easier for you to do a spot strategy, which is equally distributing all the liquidity on there. If you want to hedge your bet, if you want to say, okay, I think it might range, I do want to make some money by buying low and selling high, but also I quite like the fees because maybe this particular pool has got a lot of volume. Then you can do half spot and half bid ask. and stack them on top of each other. So when you close, that's up to you. If it goes below the range, do you feel that does it look like it might come, it's only temporary and it might come back, in which case you might leave it open. If you feel like you don't care because you are bullish long term on the token, maybe you leave it open. If you are, if it's looking like it's a very aggressive downturn, then maybe you just withdraw and sell the token that you're left with at a loss. And sometimes it's better to cut your losses early. If you're going to cut your losses, do it quick. If you're not going to cut your losses, yeah, stick with it. You might be in for a long haul where you have to wait for it to come back. Right. So you have a position open, and you want to know how it's performing. What's your profit and loss at this at this point? You'll be able to by the way, guys, asking for me to explain again, you'll be able to rewatch this at the end, so you can watch it double speed or half speed, whatever you need. This is an excellent tool created by one of the Meteora LP Army, a really amazing dev called MadXBug, and lpforfun.versal.app. And so this works basically as a live view of your positions. So you just put in your wallet address and you click the position you want. You can by the way, you can look at all your positions. You can select all positions across your wallet or multiple wallets if you have multiple wallets going, and see your overall profit and loss. Or you can do it for a specific position, and here you'll see your live ROI percentage. You can also see all your claims and withdrawals, and you can toggle at the top right here whether or not you want the token to be displayed in SOL or in token A or token B. So you can see here, this is a pretty big LMM position I was doing the other day. It'd been open for 10 hours, and I deposited 33 SOL over that time, and I'd made 2.28 SOL in that 10-hour period. And so these are great ways to check on your position. Okay, so you finished your position, you close it out, and you want to check how you did. So you got the profit and loss card that's automatically generated now when you close your position, but maybe you want to see how you did throughout the whole day, like how was your day's trading, or how was your week or your month or whatever. And GeekLad's tool is wonderful for this. You just put your wallet address in, and it will show you your performance over time, and you'll see number of transactions you've done, the total number of points you might have made with that wallet, and what your profit might be, and how much fees you've generated, and much more information for each SOL pair. You can also, there's a bunch of filters, so you can look at a time frame like a day or a week or specific month or something like that, and you can also filter just to show you a specific pair or specific token. So this will be linked in the resources document. You can also find it in the Read This First channel of the Meteora Discord. So this is an excellent way. If you remember what I was saying before about having a system and having a thing where you review how you're progressing and only increasing when you know you're getting consistent wins, this is excellent for figuring this out. And it's also nice to see your chart, just, whether or not you're improving and your rate of improvement. Okay, so let's put it all into action. Let's have a go at finding something and LPing it.
35 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's do a quick one. 15 minutes. Quick 15 minutes in and out. All right. DLM 100. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go, that's frozen, 2%. 6 hours, sort by volume, the last 1 hour. Minimum liquidity, I'm going to go for something a bit safer. I'm going to say I want at least 100K. And I'm going to say 1 million maximum. Okay. Now we're looking at some of these options. Actually, let's change the fee filter to show all. Okay, now we've got all. AIOS Sol. So we can see there's a lot of transactions here. Over the last 6 hours to 1 hour, it has been moving down. In the last 24 hours, it's gone down 35%. In the last 5 minutes, it's got a slight movement up. We can see there's not that many trades. How about CWH? CWH, very high 24-hour fee to TVL. And the fees, yeah, there's been really good fees. Considering the TVL is only 148K, you know, it's made 44K in 24 hours and facilitated almost 8 million in volume. That's crazy. Let's have a look at that. Let's do CWH. So we see that basically right now there's 51 buys, 60 sells, you know, like they're relatively even buys and sell ratio, but there's a lot of it as well, which is nice. There's a good amount of trades. So let's click into that. And 1 sec, I'm just going to show you the tab. All right. So by the way, I'm specifically picking something that's got a little bit more action just for the sake of this, since we only have about half an hour left. You know, I would really recommend going for something like Sol USDC if you don't have the time to be monitoring it all day, every day. If you want to do something like you leave it running throughout the week and you come to it only on the weekends or something like that. And then, you know, there's a whole scale of stuff that you can look at from, we call them strict list tokens or blue chip tokens. They're much slower. This is definitely a higher risk. It's not the highest risk. It's not complete degen trenches, but it's not exactly, it's still relatively new, basically. So we're looking at this. We got the DLMM wallets connected. By the way, if you use Solflare as your wallet, there's an auto approve function in it, which will save you a bit of time. You know, we talked about some of the settings yesterday. So I like to put the priority level up to ultra, and the RPC I like Helios. And then we're going to go down, have a look around. Okay, so we have token address here. It's giving you a warning that Jupiter hasn't verified this token yet. So we need to do some safety checks. So we're going to click on it. And we're going to check rug check, I think, first. So we're having a look at rug check. So it says risk analysis good. Gives you the creator's address. 34% of the LP is locked. You can see that the Radium pool has $1 million in it, which is locked. And there's a bunch of Meteor pools. There's top holders own 7%, which is pretty good. And it has its own domain. Okay, so this is looking pretty good, cat with hat. So let's move back to the DLMM. Let's just double check with the bubble maps. So we go to bubble maps. Sometimes with the newer tokens, bubble maps won't produce because no one's requested it yet. But what we're looking at here is pretty evenly distributed. We can see that there's one cluster is probably the dev. The number one owner has only 2%. Number two owner has 1.75. The Radium one has 1.6. Okay, so it's pretty heavily distributed. One thing you want to check here is there a huge cluster of basically exactly the same ownership? That could mean there's a bundle. What I mean by bundle is the creator of the token has created multiple wallets and fed them all with the same with the same amount of tokens. And so then on the bubble maps, they all have exactly the same percentage. So what you're really looking at is trying to see, is there any irregularities? And this is where it really helps to LP with multiple people, because you know, they have different knowledge. You also obviously want to check things like their Twitter account, and you know, just see if there's, obviously if there's people on Twitter talking about it, that kind of thing. Okay, so we've checked the rug check. Now I'm gonna go into GMGN, have a look at this token. Oh, so if it did an airdrop, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Then everyone, that'll be the reason why they all had. So it's been pumping up. If you got in very early, you would have made quite a bit of money. But it's okay. As an LPer, you can come in late and still make money. It's 10,000%. Jesus. So you know, we've got this volume profile visible range. We can see in the last 1 minute, slightly negative. Last 5 minutes, mostly positive. Almost double the amount of cells, so it's moving up, that's for sure. It's pumping at the moment, actually. So we're gonna use some of the indicators from before. So if you remember earlier, we talked about the MACD, which is hiding down here on the screen. But just move this up so we can have it all in one screen. So we can see that, look, oh, this is beautiful. This is exactly where you want to be to open a position, basically. We're on the 5 minute. Let's just check the 15 minute. Yeah. So last 15 minutes, the sales have been increasing. More people have been selling, but for the first time in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an hour and a half, the sales are slowing down and the buys are increasing. And so what we're looking for is that you can see these two lines are about to cross. When they cross like they did over here, you can see it indicated a period of moving up. So we saw a period where the MACD crossed, and it followed with an uptrend of volume. And you can see that reflected in the chart. Then you saw it moves kind of flat sideways. But actually, if you were reading this, you would see that actually it was going to go down a bit. Okay. So anyway, let's have a look at the other indicators on here. We can see snipers. So this is people who bought right at the beginning, and how many of them sold. So there's still quite a bit of, there's a few that are still holding. If you hover over these, so there's 100% rug pull. So saying that the minter, the creator for, wow, is pumping out tokens that he's been rugging by dumping. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good coin, because he could dump and dump and dump, but then it's caught wind and a lot of the community has started buying it and they might have sold it all. It just means you need to be a bit more careful. There's 15K holders, top 10 own 11%. The actual security audit's good. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is something where you basically, if you're going to do these degen pools, don't stay too long. Make your money and get out. Don't be greedy, you know, and just see how things go. Use small size. Don't ape. Only ape when you feel like you really know what you're doing. If you ape, you know you also massively increase the risk of loss. Okay, so let's make our boundary. It's kind of hard to tell what the hell is going to happen here because it's such a big green candle right now. So look, the indicators, the RSI is very high right now. This on the right is the volume profile visible range. This is showing you where all the trade volume has happened in the past. If it's thicker, that means the most trade volume has happened at that point. So this is hard to tell because basically right now, the buy volume is very high. This is why I'm watching the net buy. And I've gone to, let's go to a 1 minute time frame and get a little bit more granular view of what's happening. Okay, so we can see on the 1 minute that the buy volume is starting to slow down a little bit, which you kind of expect after a big. You do not have to do this. You don't have to copy me. I'm just showing you for the sake of an example. But you can see here the buys are still rolling in. Really, what I would do here is actually just wait a little bit, because it's obviously like a breakout, and so you don't know where it's going to settle. But let's try it. So in here, what I would like to do is basically do the bid ask that we talked about, place something like this, and my goal is it goes like this and then comes back out. But we might place the bid ask and it might just keep going up, in which case you might want to just chase it up and try.
A couple questions, guys. So just FYI, you can follow along with Chief here, but you don't have to. It's not required for graduation. Just do so at your own risk. But he's just giving you, you can do it if you want for the practice, but it's not required.
I think this is an awkward time to enter, because really it's pumped and it doesn't seem to be slowing down, but the risk is very high. Like if you enter and you buy, it's more likely that it's going to go down than up at this point. But if you place a bid ask underneath, it might still keep going up, in which case, I mean, you haven't lost anything, but you haven't made anything either. But yeah, the RSI is very high here. So it's beyond 70. So who knows? The market right now is really hot, so some stuff just pumps crazy amount. But let's do it anyway. Okay, so let's set our boundaries. So we're going to say somewhere around here. And we're going to set a nice big wide range, basically all the way down to here, where most of the trade volume has happened down in this area and this area. Okay, so an easy way, by the way, to translate this into the DLMM is just do that with so this indicator, by the way, down you can choose here is just to measure the price range from A to B. And you can kind of place this here and figure out, okay, 43% down is what we want to do. So I go back to the DLMM and I'm going to click add position. By the way, this is a 20 bin step pool. So we're talking very, very granular right now. You can see 69 bins will only cover a range of about 17%. And we wanted to do 40% according to our thing. So it's going to be multiple positions. So we go down here, we type, let's put the money we want to put in. So I'm going to put 0.2 maybe. Then down here, I'm going to do minus, what did we say? It was 43. Minus 43. You know what? For the sake of this demo, I am going to use a higher bin step pool, so it's all in one position, just so it's easier for people to understand. So I'm going to find this 100 bin step 1%. And this just makes it a bit easier to see everything in one position. So let's say my position size I want to do is 0.2 sol. In this case, the bin 69 bins cover a range all the way down to 49, minus 49. I only want to go to minus 43, so I'm just going to change that.
What was the bin step and fee on this one? 20?
This 20? Is 101.
Oh, 101.
Yeah, okay. I think the 20 0.2 is not really a great one to start with. It's a little bit more complicated.
I agree. FYI, 20 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, we put the 0.1 in. I'm going to do it as spot. I'm just going to say I want to earn fees here. So I'm not going to try to do the bid ask flip too much. So I'm going to do half of it is spot and half of it is bid ask. So I'm just going to add 0.1 as spot. I'm just going to create the position. Okay, now I'm going to take the other half, 0.1, and you can see as soon as I, by the way, sorry, you'll see the position created here, and then you'll see, I don't know why I think this is to do with the nighttime mode, but it's recently with this new UI, it's changed the text to black, which is annoying, but hopefully that can be fixed. Anyway, so you can see here all your details of your position, and that we've got, 0.1 sold distributed evenly across all these bins. So I'm going to add the second, by clicking add liquidity here, I'm going to add another 0.1, and you can see that it stacks it on top. If I select curve, it would stack it like this. If I click bid ask, it will stack it like this. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is 50% of my capital spot, 50% as bid ask. Obviously, some people do 25, then 75%, or 30% and 60%. It's up to you. Okay, so we've created the position. So we're up here somewhere. We're basically hoping it will dump. And yeah, you see it's moved down a little bit. I've earned a little bit of fees. We're currently making 62%. If I continue to trade this way for the next 24 hours, I'd roughly make 80% of what was in that bin, if it stayed in that bin for that long. Good fees at the moment, 112. We're going down, it's dumping. Let's go back to the chart. Let's have a look at it live. You can see it coming down. Will it go all the way down to here? Who knows? If it goes down to here, we'll make a lot of money off fees at this point, but it might just go back to this range here, which is okay as well. Yes, I'm sorry I have to go quite quickly. We are stuck for time. There's a lot of content to get through, but you will be able to rewatch this. I will try to go slower, but we have to take some questions too. So we're just going to leave this going for now. If you remember before, we talked about checking your position, and you wanted to get like a live P&L of how things are going. And it was a community tool called LP4Fun. So here I am on lp4fun.versal.app. And I put in my wallet address here. I'm going to search this. Now you can see the position that I just created, the CWH position. So I click that, and I say View Analytics down here. It's going to open a new tab. Okay, and you're seeing the position as it is. It's been open for 4 minutes. Right now, we haven't made any money. We've actually lost it a little bit because the price has gone down. But that's okay because that's expected at this point. And you'll be able to kind of periodically come back to this and refresh to see how things are going. So back to the chart. We can see if we're watching the chart, by the way, what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to see, look, it's the downtrend is kind of slowing down. If I look over the net buy down here in the corner, we can see that there's more buys than sells at this 1 minute interval. So you can see it's about to, it might be about to switch back up. So this is really important to just constantly watch the buy and sell, the net buy. So yeah, you can see this preludes the movement on the chart. This will help you discern whether or not things are continuing to go down or slowing down. And you can see it now down here with the MACD that these two red bars are relatively similar in size. So there's a lot of PvP happening right now. There's a lot of buyers and sellers duking it out to see which one's going to come first. It looks like the buyers are winning at the moment, but only slightly. Oh no, they're about double the sellers at the moment. Now I'm doing this on a 1 minute time frame, really for the sake of this demo. What I might do here is buy a little, just to see how things are going.
Chief, we
Is the
got 14
volume?
minutes. We need to wrap
Yeah.
this part up.
Anyway, so now you get the instance. I mean, I probably was way too cautious by putting such a huge bid ask. If we did the bid ask down here, we would have made a bit more fees. You know, if you're arriving at this chart right now and you wanted to open the position, maybe you want to do up 5% and down 13%. That might be useful. So a lot of this stuff, it's very hard to teach you all in like a 2-hour period, but I would really recommend getting involved on the Discord and learn by doing with some other people. Okay, let's move back to the presentation. Share this. Seem to have lost my.
Is it not showing?
Yeah, no,
Or
it's
you're
fine. Okay, so how do you get the role? This is it, guys. You need to pay attention. If you were zoned out, now is the time to zone back in. Scan this QR code and find the form in which you need to fill out. So what we are going to challenge you to do is to open your own position. Has to be with a volatile pair. That means we do not count stable pairs. That's like USDC and USDT, or like an LST with SOL, because both of them are basically the same asset. It needs to be two separate ones, like a bonk and SOL, or in this case, CWH and SOL. It does not have to be a meme coin. Please be careful with meme coins. They're the easiest ones to lose money on. You can start, you can learn, you can complete this task quite easily with something else. Cook, the form is closed again. You need to reopen it.
It's good.
And the forms, this form will, don't worry, the form will be open for 1 week starting from today. You will have until the 19th to complete it. And what you need to do to complete this is you have to LP with a minimum of $100 worth of tokens. So that could be $100 of SOL, it could be $100 of the token, or it could be 50-50, or whatever split you want to do. You have to keep the position open for at least 1 hour. You cannot use the stable pair. We talked about that. You must close the position. That means close, withdraw, claim the fees. All of that has to happen before you submit into this form. And you must achieve a minimum of 5% profit. You cannot use any of the automated tools to manage your positions. That's HawkFi or other third party. This should be done manually. When you complete this, it will take us a bit of time to mark it and figure out who was right. There's a lot of attendees, and we're only going to start marking, by the way, after the 1 week. So if you come, you do it, you submit it tomorrow, and you come 2 days time and say, why haven't I got the role? Well, it's because we haven't even closed the forms yet. And then after that, we still have to mark it too.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, Chief, so what people fail the most on is they didn't show profit. The confuse fees with profit. Just because you made 5% in fees doesn't mean that you made 5% in profit. Your fees must overcome your losses to turn profit. So when you look at the Metlex, that's what it's going to show you. You can use LP for fun to kind of gauge your thing, but remember that it calculates in SOL and not USDC value. Metlex calculates in USDC value. The other things that I find, if you use HawkFi or some other third-party DLM manager, it's not going to count. You must just use the pure DLM. You've got to close that position and be open at least an hour. I don't want to fail anybody, but if you fail, I'm not going to accept a transaction after the forms close. It doesn't happen. So, please make sure. Also, the other thing that people do is that they submit the wrong transaction. It's like, Murrow, I put in the wrong one. I'm sorry. You will be able to edit your response, after it, but you can only respond one time to the form. So yeah, we get thousands of these things, so please be patient. It takes time to grade. I check each and every failure just to be sure. So that's it. We want you to pass. We want you to be part of the Army. Oh,
yes, it needs to be at least $5 profit with a $100 deposit.
Don't want to answer this question right here. No, it must be a single position. You can't use multiple positions, just one. And someone just asked, can I use old positions? No, you see right here, new position as of January 12th.
Okay, so moving on, because
yes,
we've got a little bit of time. Someone said, can you show us the transaction ID? Well, let's go into that right now. So here you have Metlex. On Metlex, you will see this P&L tab. You click on it, and then you enter your position's opening transaction signature, then click the rocket. I will show this.
You are showing, all we're seeing is the cameras here, I think.
Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
There we go.
Right, so you see the P&L tab here. You put your transaction signature, not your wallet signature, your transaction signature. This is created when we create the position or when you withdraw the position. And I'll show you how to see that in a minute. You verify that you meet all the requirements, that it was open for at least an hour, that you made a profit more than 5%, and that's your whole profit. So that's fees plus if the token gone up. And you copy your URL here, this button at the bottom. It's a little copy button down here. That's what you're going to paste into the form. Click the P&L, put your position transaction signature in there, verify, and copy and paste it to the form. Has to be today. Sol decoder is not acceptable. Has to be $100, has to be 5%. And then if you do pass, you're going to get one of these. And you're going to get the role for the Discord, which is going to be really useful because there's going to be a lot more alpha in there soon. And you can find other people to LP with.
Just to clarify a little bit, Chief, it doesn't have to be today. It has to be between today and when the form closed, right? So you guys have a week to do it.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for a whole week.
It can't be before today.
Can't be before today. You know, it could take you 3 days to achieve 5%. It could take you 10 minutes on Wednesday. You know, there's lots of options.
And guys, we will be in the Meteora Discord voice chat after this to answer more of your bootcamp questions. So yeah, Corey Trades, yes, that's good. Okay, we got a couple more slides, I think.
So if
Yeah.
you guys are looking for somewhere to LP, along with the Meteor Discord, I want to introduce you to DeadDAO, which just turned 1 year old yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So Dead is the original sub-DAO of the LP army of Meteora, and it was created at the same time the token When was created. And basically it's a fractionalized NFT by Ben, the founder of Meteora, and now it's been CTO'd. It's also on M3 platform, or Meme3, and they have just launched the Discord to be a lot more robust. It's got their own Discord, and you'll be able to see other LP with other people and do all the stuff I was talking about before. They have their own NFT collection, and you can find out more in the Meteor Discord with Dead announcements and Dead LP army channels. And soon the Dead Discord will give Bootcamp graduates access for free for a limited time to check them out. So if you're looking for a great place to LP, this will be one, and by completing this task, you'll be able to get in. So questions, we're going to host some questions in the Meteor Discord straight after this, so you can jump in and ask us, and we'll answer. Yeah, and if you get the Dead token, you don't forget to stake it in Meme3. And we'll answer more questions there.
There, and just FYI, if you were the Dead did airdrop 29 Dead to folks affected by fee printors. That's already happened. So if you were in that, check your wallet. You may have that.
Yeah, that gives you free access.
Yep.
All right. So we have the song again, the outro song.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we still got 3 minutes, so we did it.
Oh, we got a question here.
What is the max squat? You know, I really don't do max on squat. I mean, I've done like 380, but you know, I really don't mess with that. I hate leg day. But bench press is 290 pounds. So I forgot what that translates into kilograms. I think it's like 131.5 or something like that. I don't know. Yes, you need to LP for at least 1 hour. If you open your position today, it's fine so long as you meet all the other criteria. And there's a Goose question there.
Yeah, so if you want to get into GooseDAO, if you go to @theGooseDAO on Twitter and read the document that we've pinned to the Twitter page, it explains how to get in, how to apply, and where to apply. Long story short, you need to be a master at the DLMM, and you need to be an exceptional contributor to the LP army. We have very limited spots, and recruitment is very slow because we take a lot of time to slowly welcome new people, make sure that everyone gets to know each other before we invite other new people. Yeah.
If you like those songs, you can find them pinned messages in Bootcamp Discord.
Did I finally figure out my mic at the last hour?
Nice.
Congrats.
I was trying to chime in. Chief, great job.
Yeah. XP is the link for P&L screenshot in Discord. I mean, it's there. It's also in every single pool. Every single pool you get to, you'll see the DLMM, P&L, and points tracker. That's Metlex. That's where it is.
Checking our position real quick. We've moved a little bit down.
You
see the price is still going down.
Yeah. You can stake the Dead tokens in Meme 3.3, and that will still let you in. Any bin for the graduation is acceptable. All right.
Let's go. We made some money, even though the price is going down.
Nice.
Look at that.
All right, guys. So it's right at time here. Again, feel free to join us in the Meteora Discord voice chat right after this. We'll be there to answer any additional questions. Just join us up there, and we'll get anything else you guys have. So thank you all for attending. Chief, awesome job. Thank you. You're amazing. I know day one is not quite as exciting as day two. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. Thanks everyone for attending. Feel free to ask questions away if you're not able to attend after this. I try to answer all the questions I get on Twitter or in the Meteor Discord.
Yep. Also, thank you, Otto, Photon, Gosha, Mario, Geeklad, for coming and helping with questions and everything. Appreciate it. All right. Let's do this. See you guys.
Explorer, fire in his eyes. Under the ice, he flies the prize. Long forgotten in the pools was more than gold or truth. A hidden power deep within. His journey is about to begin. To shatter the token he must, and form an army from the dust. Now called the great janitor, he has become only the handler. Releasing the power inside, the dead army now arise. For this we are bred, to be the army of the dead. Forever it shall be said, I am dead, I am dead. We now spread, wearing the token of the dead. To Jupiter and beyond, the dead token is our bond. Forge ahead in the great booze, choosing the dead as our tools. For this we are bred, to be the army of the dead. Forever it shall be said, I am dead, I am dead, I am dead. Creating new images of power that echo till the final hour. We are the dead here and now, forever dead, this we avow. From the pieces the janitor shatters, the dead army is all that matters. For this we are bred, to be the army of the dead. Forever it shall be said,